Speaking of getting lucky, and I don't think it was necessarily luck, but the fruits of your hard work. How did you get this gig with Jeff Lynne and ELO?
So okay, so as a band, as the backing band, we've worked together as a unit for 13 years. This group of musicians, and we play for our main gig is a band from the UK called Take That, which is like, basically England's answer to, well, when they started, England's answer to New Kids on the Block. It's a pop gig, and we've all played together as a band for like I said, 13 years. And outside of that band, outside of that particular band, we were the house band for a BBC show called Children in Need Rocks. It's like a charity gig where we play for multiple artists, and they have a show every couple of years, and we were the backing band back in 2013, and the headliner was Jeff Lynne. So we first met him in 2013 doing this show, and we just played a couple of tunes, and like the reception he got, being back in the UK was just through the roof. And the host for that show, he's a radio DJ, and he put like a shout out on the radio just saying, if Jeff Lynne decided to come back and do some shows, how many people would want to see him, and he just became this big old thing. So the BBC also do a festival called Party in the Park. Called Festival in the Day. That was the following year, the following September. And they asked Jeff if he would headline it. And bless him, Jeff was like, I'll do it on one condition, that Mike Stevens and his team that I had for Children in Need would do it with me. And, obviously they got in touch, and again, as they say, the rest is history. And we did that show that was in Hyde Park, and it was filmed, and it just went on from there, really. And then
and what year was that?
That was in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, live at Hyde Park. And then he did a new record, and then one thing led to another, and we sort of he sort of christened us the Electric Light Orchestra. So it's Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra, which is us. So when you think of the history of that band and what they achieved, it's it's just one of the biggest compliments you could get as a musician when an artist like Jeff Lynne recognizes what you do, and he personally asks for you. It's
amazing.
It's a massive deal, man. Yeah, oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. And it's we've done a couple of tours now, and honestly, Nick, I can't even begin to start playing it down. It is absolutely amazing. The catalogue of music that he has, and when you think about his personal achievements as an artist, as a producer, as a songwriter, and then to be sharing the stage with him playing his music, honestly, it's mind blowing. And to know that he's from the same city that I came from, I'm like, where he was born and raised was 5 miles. In fact, 3 miles from where I was born and raised.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, so it's honestly, again, I feel incredibly lucky, incredibly blessed to be doing a gig of this size, and, the sort of legacy that he has. We do these venues, and, you're getting people like Paul McCartney turning up at the gigs, and Ringo Starr.
Wow.
We did a show at the Forum a couple of weeks ago, and Jim Keltner was there. Jim Keltner and Stuart Copeland, and they want to meet you. And I'm like, hold on, are you saying Jim Keltner, Stuart Copeland want to say hello? are you actually kidding me?
You didn't you didn't say Stuart Cortland, did you? You said Stuart Copeland, right?
Right.
You're like, they would have beat me. You sure?
I'm like, we went back into the VIP afterwards, and there they were. I'm like, oh my God. Oh,
that's
my
awesome.
God. And I'm like, and they want to meet you, and because they're friends of, they're like Jeff's peers, and I'm like, oh my God. And, I've met Steve Ferrone, we keep in touch, and I'm like, you are the guys I was listening to growing up, and here you are, at my gig. This is out of this world, and
that's so cool.
Like I was saying earlier, you sort of take in all these moments now. It's like, wow, I'm in this moment, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah.
Now, did you grow up listening to ELO?
No, I didn't.
No?
I knew Showdown, Evil Woman, and Mr. Blue Sky. Mm-hmm. Just be like subconsciously, he would have been on in the house or on the radio. So when I heard those tunes, I made a connection then. But I became a fan, like a real fan, obviously, after I got the gig and I started just, getting all the back catalogue. And I'm like, oh my God, this is... And then you spread out, and then you get into like Tom Petty and, George Harrison, and you're like, wow, this is all stuff that Jeff's involved in, and Traveling Wilburys, and you're like, oh my God, like what's going on here? Like the caliber and the sort of vastness of music. I'm like, so I would throw my hands up and I would say I'm one of the new fans, and it excites me. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's crazy, man. Just what he was doing back then,
I think that people don't realize it. Like,
no, I don't think so.
I think they don't I mean, those who know, but I don't think that most people realize how much stuff Jeff has worked on and produced. You said, and he's a songwriter and he has his own hits, and like, it's just, it's insane.
One of my friends, one of my friends is the drummer for Nicole Scherzinger, mm-hmm. and she does one of the Pussycat Girls tunes called, I think it's called Beep, I think the tune's called. And it starts with this like reverse sample, like a string reverse sample. And my friend, when he was programming the song, he says, Don, I've got a sample here and it says Evil Woman sample. And he was like, do you recognize this sample? And he played it to me and I was like, yeah, that's from Jeff Lynne's track Evil Woman. So I played him the song with the sample, and he was like, no way. And like, I've heard that Pussycat Dolls tune, a million times, but never made the association until that particular moment. I was like, oh yeah, that's the sample from that section of the song. And I'm like, and that's something that's completely removed from an ELO, an ELO genre, you know what I mean? So
yeah. And
then you start to, obviously doing a gig like this, you start to meet the people who he's influenced as well. So, we had a UK band called The Feeling who were out on tour with us. And, there's Tom Chaplin, who's the front man from Keen, another UK band. And then we on the support band who's on tour with us is Doors. They're influenced by him. And you sort of meet all these people and they're like, yeah, ELO influenced that music. And then you start to make references. So as I'm hearing more and more of the records, I'm like, this sounds like such and such. And you're just like, oh, wow, okay, cool. This guy, you place him, with the Beatles and, all of those kind of caliber of artists, you know what I mean? So mm-hmm. This is me as a new fan who's finding this stuff out, do you know what I mean? And it's like, I can honestly tell you that I'm genuinely enjoying the journey,
That's awesome.
Just getting into his catalog, so cool. Man, definitely.
It's like an onion too. You start peeling back all these layers, I'm sure, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know this and that. It's like, my wife and I went to see Hall & Oates last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. And like, I grew up listening to them, but then when you're at the concert, you're like, oh my God, I forgot about this hit and this hit. And this. And it's like, oh, I forgot they even wrote that song. It's like, it's amazing. Some of these legacy artists that
absolutely.
Just don't realize.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah,
cool.
been a great experience for me, definitely, and it's definitely up there in the top 5, maybe even 3 things that I've done. You know, just to be a part of something, with the level of legacy that is behind this, it's an awesome thing.
Of course. So what's on tap for the future for you?
Who knows? So there's,
I love it.
This is the last night of the US leg of the tour.
Okay.
And we travel back to the UK for a couple of maybe 10 days off, and then the tour goes into Europe. And then after Europe, we do the UK, and then we go back to do the other band I was telling you about, Take That. They've got another tour lined up for next year, and then there's talks of more ELO stuff next year. So, yeah, that's it. And just like I said earlier, just building my company up, working with a few new artists and, just trying to stay active, man, more than anything at all.
I like
stay active, really.
That's the name of the game right there.
Definitely.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to chat, man. I know that your schedule has been busy, especially with your wife and kids there. So I appreciate you doing that. And
no problem, man.
I especially hope that my hometown of Philadelphia takes care of you tonight. It's a good place. It's a good energy. It's a good energy town, and sometimes we make it a bad rap.